Marhaba, we are starting with Unit 2. So take out your textbook. We are on page 22, and you're going to take out your notebook and a pencil, and let's get started. So we are going to start off with the very first letter in the alphabet, and that is Alif. Let me make this thicker. Here we go. Alif. So if we have, let's say this is our notebook line. I'll make a couple lines here. Alif is the first letter. You're going to write the alif a few times. And the way that I would suggest that you take your notes is that you have the letter and then practice writing it. And then you're going to have a few notes on the letter. So its name is Alif. The name of this letter is Alif. Okay. And the sound that it makes is The sound that it makes is And Alif is a long vowel. And a long vowel means that it is a letter that elongates the sound of a consonant. Alif, Okay. Now, Alif is what I like to call a ride or die letter. This is not a fancy Arabic term, just what I like to use to make it easier for you to understand. There are two types of letters in Arabic. There are those that connect, okay, and then there's those that don't always connect. Okay. Alif is one of the latter. It's a letter that does not always connect. And the reason why I call it a ride or die is because it takes no new friends, which means that it'll connect to what comes before it, but it'll never connect to what comes after it. No new friends. Okay? So it's a ride or die. It only connects to what comes before and not what comes after. When it connects to what comes before, this is how we connect it. You have a connecting line, and then you simply draw the alif up like this. And that connecting line that we have right here, this portion is what will connect to some sort of letter before alif. Okay? But if I had another letter after the alif, it would not connect to it. Okay? So no new friends. It will never connect to what comes after it. So what sound does the alif make? Very good. So it is a long vowel, and there are 3 long vowels. So alif is one of the 3 long vowels that we have. So let's move on. Let's do a couple more letters, and then we'll be able to use the alif. The next letter that we have in the alphabet is the letter Ba. The letter Ba. And the way that we write the letter in its full form is like this. We have a vertical line, a horizontal line that's right on your notebook, and then a dot underneath. Notice the length and the height. If this was an alif, Ba is half of the height. Okay? And Ba, think of Ba as a boat. It makes the B sound, and it looks like a boat. It's a boat shape. And you can just pretend that the dot underneath represents water. That's what will help you remember that Ba is a boat and there's a dot underneath it. Okay? So this is the letter Ba. That's its name. And the sound that it makes is the B sound, the B sound. Okay. Now, Ba is a letter that is a consonant, which means it has its own sound, and it's a letter that connects. So when we learn letters that connect, we're going to learn 3 forms. Remember, we covered this in the first video. And that is what we call initial, medial, and final position. When ba is in initial position, what we do, I'll do it in red, is we take the first half of the letter ba and then we connect it to the next letter. So it'll look like that. So in your notebook, you're going to write a few times ba. And now let's try to connect a letter. I want you to take the letter ba and you're going to connect it to the letter alif. So ba is the first letter in this, which means you have to write it in initial position. Initial position means it's the first letter or it's only connected to something after it. So we're going to write it in initial position just like we did. And then we're going to connect the alif. And remember the alif we said was simply takes a connecting line and moves up because it connects to what comes before it. So I'm going to take this point right here where the ba is, and that's what I'm going to connect. So you're going to do it like this and connect like that. And when you pronounce it, we're going to pronounce it phonetically. So the letter ba makes the b sound. And what sound does the letter alif make? So put the two together, what do we get? Ba. Very good. Now you're going to do another connection. I want you to connect a ba plus an alif plus another ba plus an alif. So pause the video and come back. Okay, so the first ba that we have here, I'll do it in a different color so it stands out. The first ba that we have here is initial position because it's the first letter. So we got the first letter. Then it's connected to an alif. So alif connects with a connecting line and a straight line up. So now we've got the alif. Now I've got another letter ba. Okay. Can I connect that letter ba to this alif? Why not? We said that alif is a ride or die, which means no new friends. It will not connect to what comes after it. So if you have a ride or die letter in the middle of a word, the letter after it will always be written in initial position. Because remember, initial position means either it's the first letter of the word or it's connected to something after but not before. And that's the case here. So now we're going to write another ba in initial position, pretty close but not touching. And then another alif because alif is now connected. So I want you to write that word a few times so you get comfortable with it. Okay. Now, how would we read that? You have a ba and an alif, and ba alif together makes what? Ba. And another ba and alif, which also makes the same sound. So put it together and you get baba. Very good. Good. So baba. And baba is traditionally what you call your dad. Baba. So congrats, you got your first word. Baba, written like this. Okay, we're now on page 24. Let's continue on. Ba is a letter, like I said, that connects on both sides. So when it is in medial position, what it does is we have a connecting letter, one vertical line up, and a connecting line right after. Okay, so connects like this and like this. So you want to write that a few times. And I think I'll just erase right here so we can write in the same screen. Okay. Okay, so it connects medially. So I'm going to have you connect a couple of letters. These are not words. They're just helping you connect the letters together. Okay, because we only have 2 letters, so it's hard to create tons of words. So we're just going to connect some letters together and see if we can write them. So you're going to connect a ba with a ba and an alif. Pause the video and then come back. Okay, so that first ba is going to be an initial position. So it looks like this. That's the first ba. Okay. The second ba, I'll do in a different color, is going to look like this. medial. So we're going to take this connecting point, draw a vertical line up, and then put a dot underneath. That's our second ba. And then we have an alif. And how does alif connect? Is it going to be able to connect here? Yes, it will, because alif connects to what comes before it, not after it. So we take this connecting line at this point, and then we simply put an alif going up here. Okay, so now let's look at ba in final position, which means when it's at the end of a word, right, or when it's connected to something before and not after. And when it's in final position, you have a connecting line, and then it takes what we call its full form. And letters usually take their full form when they're in final position, when they're connected at the end. Okay? So now what I want you to do is you're going to connect 3 ba's to each other. If there was a word, and in that word it was 3-letter ba's, what would that look like? Every time I give you one of these, pause and then see how you did. So the first one is ba in initial position. The second one, it's sandwiched in between, so it is medial position. And the third one is final position. So look, final position takes both of its its vertical lines. So we're going to take that connecting line and do a full form ba. Notice how the first 2 are about half the size, and the last ba is its full size. So I want you to practice writing that a couple times. Okay, let's make it a little bit harder. Let's do, put a line here, a ba plus a ba plus a ba plus a ba. So what would it look like if you had 4 ba's connected to each other? Again, this isn't a word, it's just practice for writing. So you would have the first ba, initial position. The second ba is medial because it's in the middle. The third ba is also medial because it's in the middle. And then the final one, the last one, is in its full form. So when you look at these loops, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, let's do another one. Let's connect, put a line here. Let's connect 3 letters. The letter ba plus an alif plus a ba. So pause it and come back. So the first letter ba is going to be in initial position. The alif is going to be connected because it connects to what comes before it. So we take that connecting line and we connect up. Can we connect that alif to the next letter though? We cannot. So we have only 1 letter left. And that letter is not connected to the alif and it's not connected to anything else. When you have this situation where you have a ride or die letter and you only have 1 letter after, you write that letter in its full form, not connected. And so its full form, not connected, is what we learned the ba originally to look like, which is just like this. So you take that shape and you write it. This right here is its full form, or what you call independent. Okay, there's a T back there. Independent form. So you have independent, you have initial, medial, and final. Now you're going to try to read this. The first letter ba, what sound does it make? Good, it makes the ba sound. And what sound does this alif make? And what sound does the ba make? The b sound. And whenever you have a letter at the end of the word, you stop on that sound. Just like in English, we stop on the sound. If I say, for instance, cat, what am I doing on the T? Cat. I just stop on the T. So it's the same thing here. Ba, alif, ba, b. Bab. So when we pronounce it, bab. هذا باب. Your first vocab word. What is bab? Door. So anytime I say this is a vocab word, you make sure that you write down that bab means door. Maybe draw a door next to it. It's probably better for you to have a picture so you can associate a picture or a meaning with the word as opposed to an English translation. Bab, door. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to flip the page. We're now on page 25. And we have done alif. We have done ba. And now we're going to do the letter thaa. And thaa looks like a ba. Okay. Looks like a ba. But it has 2 dots. So how I like to think of it is this. Ba is a boat. When the boat has 2 people on it, it becomes thaa. Okay. So its name is thaa, and its sound is the T sound. T. So our first 3 letters now we have our alif, ba, thaa. Now, when letters have the same shape, they connect in the same way. The only difference is where the dot is. Okay, so in ba, the dot was below, and thaa is 2 dots. Now, one other thing. When you have 2 dots like this, you can write the 2 dots out, or we can play connect the dots and put a horizontal line. So you can write the thaa in either way. So now what I want you to do is you're going to pause the video, and you are going to write what the thaa looks like initially, medially, and finally. Okay. So you should have had this initial position exactly like ba, but with the 2 dots on top. Medial position exactly like ba, but 2 dots on top. And final position, same thing. And if you want, you can write it like this with a line above it. Okay. So now let's practice writing some words or sounds. Okay. I want you to write the letter thaa. Oops, let's make it a little bit thicker. You're going to write the letter thaa, followed by a thaa, followed by a ba. The first thaa is in initial position. The second thaa is in medial position. The third letter is a letter ba. There's a dot underneath. Same shape, but it's in final position. So if I want to write it one more time, it would look like this. And if you want to put it with the dots there, you can. Okay, now I'm going to do something opposite. We're going to practice dictation. I'm going to say a sound to you, and you're going to try writing it out based on spelling that word out. So sound it out. Okay? Bat. 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 So you hear a ba. So here's how we'll do it. When you have dictation, easiest way to do it in the beginning, sound the letters out first and then connect them. Okay? So you hear a ba. Bat. After the ba, do you hear a ah sound? Bat. Ah. You hear that ah? What letter is that? Good. That's an alif. Bat. What are we ending this sound on? Bat. Good. The letter thaa. So here are the letters. Now you can connect them. So go ahead and connect it. Ba, initial position. Alif, connected. Make it a little bit neater. Does alif connect to the next letter? No, it cannot. So the next letter can only be an initial position or an independent form. So which one is it going to be? Good, it's going to be in an independent full form because there's no letter after it. But, write it a few times, get comfortable with it. If you want to write it with dots, you can. If you want to write it as a line, you can do that too. Okay. So now we are going to move on to the letter thaa. So bottom of page 27 and top of page 28. The next letter is the letter thaa. Same shape. When the boat has 3 people on it. 1, 2, 3. It is a thaa. Okay. So the sound it makes is thaa. And it is the letter thaa. Now, when you have 3 dots, you can connect the dots. And if we connect 3 dots, we get a little carrot top. Okay. So now we have alif, ba, thaa, thaa. Alif, ba, 1 dot. Thaa, 2 people in the boat. Thaa, 3 people in the boat. Now let's sound out the letter thaa. Because in English, you have 2 different TH sounds. Thaa is like the TH in 3. Or the TH in thimble. It is very light. So let's write some characteristics. It is a very light and airy sound. What you are going to do to create this sound is you are going to put the tip of your tongue and you're going to touch it to the bottom of your front teeth. And then lightly let air pass in between. So what I would recommend is put your hand in front of your mouth and say thaa, thaa, thaa. As you gently touch your tongue to the bottom of the top teeth, you should feel air hitting your fingers that are in front of your mouth. Thaa. That is the correct way of saying this letter. Do not push down your teeth on the tongue because then you'll get the. That's a different sound. So we want a light, airy sound. Thaa. 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 So you're going to go ahead and write initial, medial, and final. Good. So initial, medial, final. And of course we can write it like this with a carrot top. Okay. If you're doing initial and medial, the dots and the carrot top go right above the vertical line, and in final position, it goes in the middle. Okay, so we are going to write out some words and sounds. You are going to connect the letter thaa with an alif, with a ba, and a thaa. So you should get thaa, initial position, followed by an alif, so it connects here. Alif doesn't connect to the next letter, so the next letter has to be an initial position because there's multiple letters. Ba, and follow it with full form, thaa. Thabit. Thaa, alif, thaa, ba, followed by the T sound, bit. Thabit. Thabit. Okay. Now, one thing to note is if you're going to shorthand it, shorthanding meaning if you're connecting the dots, then you have to connect all the dots. If you're not connecting the dots, then be consistent and don't connect the dots in all of them. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's do thabt. Thabt. Thabta. Thabt. Sound it out. You hear thaa. Thab, b, 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 thabt. Ba followed by thabt, thaa. So connect those together. Thaa, initial. Ba, medial. Thaa, final. Do it one more time. Notice when I'm writing the full word, what am I doing? Do you notice that I'm writing the shape first and then I'm going back to put the dots? So that's how you actually want to write it. You want to practice as much as you can. Right now you're doing one letter at a time. But once you get the word, practice writing the shape of the word and then going back in and putting the dots. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to look at drill 3 on page 29. Okay. I'm going to say one of those pairs of words, so you can pause and get to that page. I'm going to say one pair of those words of each of them, and you're going to tell me which word is it? Which sound do you hear? Okay, so let's look at number 1. But. But. Which one am I saying? But. What does it end in? A T sound. So which one does it have to be? Very good. It has to be this one. But. Okay, let's do another one. Number 2. Tub. 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 What letter does it start with? T, t, the T sound. So which one of these two starts with the T sound? Remember, we start from right to left. This one. Very good. Okay. Thabat. 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 Which one starts with a tha? Right here, 3 dots. So we're saying this one. What letter does this start with? Good. That is the letter ba. Okay, let's do another one. Number 4. And you have your book in front of you, so it's much neater and clearer. Thab. 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 Starts with the letter tha. Very good. Tha. And I just realized I did the numbering wrong, but that's okay. So this is practice with writing the letters. So what I want you to do now is you are going to continue on with the assignment. And the assignment for this one is drill 2. And then in the next video, we're going to move on and we're going to cover the rest of the long vowels.